Here's 4 reasons why you need a pre-launch. Hi, I'm Brenna McGowan, a launch strategist and copywriter, and I'm going to teach you the 4 essential elements that you need to make your next launch super successful.
When it comes to the pre-launch, can you tell everyone what this is exactly?
So what a pre-launch is, it's typically, in my mind, it's the 4 to 6 weeks before a launch actually happens, before doors officially open, where you're prepping and priming your audience and letting them know like what's to come. And you're starting to create an argument for what you're going to offer, but without selling the offer. At this point in time, you're really helping your clients sell their process, their framework, their thought process as to why the offer works. And why this is really important to delineate of the two differences is because when someone believes in our framework or our methods or kind of what we're thinking, all of a sudden our product becomes the next natural solution.
So you have a 4A framework for us to talk about why pre-launching really works. So let's dive into this.
Well, the first reason it works is anticipation. So if you think about it, like other industries use anticipation marketing all the time, yet I'm almost amazed and shocked and slightly happy since I decided to go into this, that people aren't using this in the online market as much as they should. The other thing that I love about anticipation here is that our brains are hardwired to anticipate future events in a favorable light. So when we know how to talk about our services and products in a way that builds this natural anticipation, our people subtly, they start to get excited about what's ahead, what's to come.
Okay, let's move on to the next A. What is it?
Autonomy. And so this is where with launching, typically what happens is we kind of blindside our audience who might not be ready for our offer to suddenly have to make a decision in 7 days, 5 days, whatever it is, even 10 days. And they're still like absorbing the information. They're still trying to think of how they can implement your processes in their business. And then we wonder why our launches are failing. And it's because we haven't given people enough time to really consider what we're selling. So this is why, to me, giving our clients and customers autonomy to make decisions, being very upfront about what we're doing, what we're selling, is extremely important in the buying process, in my opinion.
I agree with that. What's your third A?
Assurance. And that stands for trust, right? The going back to know, like, and trust. And we already talked about how people are more hesitant. People have gotten scammed or feel, they're not sure about their purchases. So the reason why pre-launch works so well is because you're really bringing people in a targeted way, but you are creating a lot of trust and showing them. So the assurance can be you can do this through the case studies, right? Through the testimonials that you've gotten. This can be you just showing up and being a regular person in their inbox. Assurance happens when you show people empathy to the process that, what they're going through. So there's so many ways, but the one thing that is true about trust, and whether this is in business or in life, is trust takes time, especially as time goes on. People want to trust you, but there's something going on. There's a, talk like, is this for real? Is this program, is this service, is this really the outcome I'm going to get? So taking time in your pre-launch to really build up your trust makes a huge difference in terms of when people are ready to hand you cash.
Yeah. And we're getting more sophisticated as buyers. We're getting very on to these marketing tactics. And we do want to make sure we're not just getting the rose-colored highlights of everything, right?
With assurance is a lot of times it's not that we don't trust someone else. Sometimes we don't trust ourselves to get right. So if you think about it, how many courses have we taken that haven't worked? How many times have we tried something and we failed? What are those stories that people are telling themselves about themselves? That's often a very overlooked portion of marketing plans in general, is leaning into that belief of why this is possible for them right now.
Okay, so let's get into the 4th A of your framework.
All right, anecdotes. So, and this is a fancy word with an A for just stories. As an email copywriter, social media manager, I know the importance of stories. You have probably heard the importance of stories a million times, but it's really the truth. People remember you from stories. It's simple stories. These don't have to be super fancy. When you send out launch emails, they're straightforward, right? Like, okay, do you want to buy or do you not want to buy? There's not typically a ton of time for a ton of storytelling, but storytelling is what really gets people to once again, go back to that trust, like know, like, and trust you. Feel like they know who you are. It's the way that you can stay top of mind with things that are going on. And so really leaning into, okay, how can I tell stories, both full-fledged, like longer emails with stories, but also just what I call like a short story. Like, what can I tell people what I'm up to? Because in that too, it also describes your personality. The type of stories you tell tells what your life looks like. And that's the other thing that will make a lot of connection. So there's just these little ways to use stories throughout all of your pre-launch content, whether it's on a podcast, a live, your emails, your social media posts, but the stories will help you really demonstrate like what you do and how you help people through your stories instead of it being kind of a fluffy example. And if you're interested in trying to figure out like, where do I even start with this whole pre-launching business? I have the pre-launched plan cheat sheet, which actually walks you through the 3 buyer beliefs that every buyer needs to believe before they buy from you. And I show you the type of content you should be creating before you actually launch.
Oh my gosh, so good. And everybody can grab that in the link below. I know so many people who want to get involved in launches, and this is just that component no one else is talking about, like you said earlier.
Yeah. And if you're interested in trying to figure out like, where do I even start with this whole pre-launching business? I have the pre-launched plan cheat sheet, which actually walks you through the 3 buyer beliefs that every buyer needs to believe before they buy from you. And I show you the type of content you should be creating before you actually launch.
Oh my gosh, so good. And everybody can grab that in the link below.